Alright guys, so in the last video we have set up our environment, we have set up our Nextjs app with Chakra-UI. So today our goal is to build the homepage UI, and we are going to complete these tasks. First we're going to create the app header, then we're going to create the blog preview card, then we are going to create a custom Chakra link component that will combine the Nextjs link component and the Chakra-UI link component. And finally, we will implement the toggle color mode feature, which is pretty easy to do with Chakra-UI. So these are the tasks we're going to do. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is the index.js file where we had left off in the previous video. I don't need these divs. I will delete them. And also I will use a title for the homepage. So head. This head component is from Nextjs. And we're going to use the title tag, and the title will be Q's blog, and you can see the title has been changed. And also I will move this tab onto my editor workspace so that we can see what we are doing. So first we are going to create this app header. So I'm going to create a components directory inside my source directory. So components, and inside the components I'm going to create a file. I will call it app header.jsx. So I will create a component with rafce. Now we need to import few components from Chakra-UI. So import from Chakra-UI React, and I will import the flex component, then the spacer component, then box, icon, button, and then I'm gonna import some icons from Chakra-UI. So import from @Chakra-UI's icons, and I'm gonna import the hamburger icon and search icon, and I'm gonna remove this divs, and I'm gonna insert the box component. The box component is really just a wrapper, app header, and I'm gonna import this component in the index.js file. Import app header. Later we will create a layout, but for now we are gonna import all of the components in the index.js file. Now we are going to import it using absolute import, not relative import. If I use relative import, then I have to go /components, then app header. But I have set up absolute import, and the source directory will be my base URL, so I can just import from components, then the app header. I don't have to go one step back. And I will remove the heading, and I will insert the app header. And you can see the app header text has been printed out on the screen. So our absolute import is working. Now the app header will be a flex component. This will be a logo. This logo will be a separate component. So I will remove this text. I will insert the flex component. The first item will be the logo, but for now I'm just going to put a h1 tag with the text of logo. Later I will add the image, and then we need to add these icons, and these icons are actually icon buttons. So I'm going to create a custom component. So const custom icon button, and it will take some props. So I will destructure it. It will take the icon as a prop, and I will get the rest of the props, and I will return the icon button. It will be a self-close component, and we need to pass the icon prop. I'm gonna pass the icon, and then I will spread rest of the props. And now in the flex component, I will add the custom icon button. I'm gonna pass the icon prop, and the icon will be the search icon at first. I don't need to pass other props. I'm gonna copy this line again, and this time icon will be hamburger icon. And you can see that we have this logo text, and we also have these two buttons with icons, and the icons are too small, so I'm gonna change the size with the prop size, and the size will be LG. And let's also add some margin to the left side, so just pass the prop ML for margin left, and the value will be 1 rem. Okay, so this type of props, ML for margin left, are called style props in Chakra-UI. Basically, with style props, you can pass any kind of, almost any kind of CSS properties as props, but you have to use them as camel case. It also gives you some shorthand properties. For example, if you want to use margin top, you can just type MT, or margin bottom, MB, or margin to the top and bottom, you can just pass the prop MY. And if you want to learn more about it, you can check out my Chakra-UI crash course. I have explained everything there. And now we need to separate these two buttons from the logo text. That's why we have imported the spacer component. The spacer component will push all of these components to the right side. So just add the spacer. And now both of the icon buttons are on the right side. And also we need to align items vertically at the center. So I'm gonna pass a prop, actually a style prop, align items, and the value will be center. Okay, so our app header is almost done. Now we need to create our logo component. So I'm gonna create another custom component, const logo, and I'm gonna import the Nextjs image component. Import image from next/image, and let's return the image component, and we need to pass the source. And I've already added an image on my public directory. I have named it logo.jpg. I need to give the path of that image relative to public directory, so it will be /logo.jpg. Both height and width value will be 70, so I'm going to create a variable, const dimension will be 70, and let's add height, then pass dimension, and width also dimension. And also let's give an alt text because ESLint is not happy. So alt will be Q's coding. And instead of this H1, I'm gonna add this logo. And you can see we have the logo on our app header. And our app header is almost done, but we just need to add some style to the box. So I will add some padding to the top with the PT prop, and the value will be 5 rem. And also I will add some padding to the left and right side, so I'm gonna use the PX prop, and the value will be 2 rem. And now we have a little bit of spacing, so our app header is done. Now we need to build our block preview card, which is this one. In the preview card, we have this image, which we will call the banner. Then we have the title, then the creation date, the total views, then the total time to read, some description, and the read more button. So I'll remove the app header file, also the _app.js. And inside the components directory, I will create another directory. I will call it blog. And inside the blog, I will create a file, blog preview card.jsx. Again, I will create a component. And now we need to import a bunch of components. So I'm gonna paste the value. I don't wanna waste time by typing those. So I have imported the image component again from next image, and we have imported the nano ID, which will generate us some random ID. And we have imported these components from Chakra-UI. Again, the flex component, then the box component, and then it has a horizontal stack component, then the vertical stack component. And this is the text component for typography. And again, the heading component, we have used it before, and the link box component and the link overlay component, which we will use after creating our custom link component. Okay, so I will delete this. I will add a fragment. So first of all, I'm gonna insert a vertical stack component. Now the vertical stack component is just stacks components one after another. And here we're gonna add a box component again. And I'm gonna add width. And I don't even have to pass width totally. I can just pass W. That will be interpreted as width because of Chakra-UI style props. And the width will be 100%. And inside the box, we will add the image component. Now for the demo, I have already added our image in the public directory. I have named it demo.jpg. So I will add that /demo.jpg. And now we have to pass the layout. Layout will be responsive. And with responsive layout, we can make the image responsive using the aspect ratio. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can watch this video. I have made an entire video about how to make an image responsive using aspect ratio, both with vanilla CSS and with Nextjs image component. I hope it will be helpful. Basically, with responsive layout, we will make sure the aspect ratio stays the same. To specify the aspect ratio, we have to use the height and width. To get the aspect ratio that you want, you have to divide the height by the width. I want the aspect ratio of 9:16, where 9 is the height and 16 is the width. So I will just pass width 16 and height to 9. This will make the image responsive. And again, I have to pass the alt prop. And in the index.js, I'm going to import the block preview card from components /blog preview card. And I will add the blog preview card. And you can see here is the beautiful image. And if I resize the window, it will stay responsive. You can see it is keep maintaining its aspect ratio. And if you have any problem with the aspect ratio, you can just pass another prop, which is object fit. And the value will be cover. Alright, so now we need to add the title. So I'm gonna add a heading after the box. So heading. And I'm gonna pass lorem ipsum word. And now we need to add a horizontal stack for displaying this data. So HStack. So I'm gonna use 3 text component. So text. First will be the creation date. I'm gonna pass a random date. Then the total views, 100 views, and the reading time for min read. And now we need to add some style to the horizontal stack. We need to add a spacing prop, and the value will be 1 rem. It will add some spacing between the items. And then we have to pass the wrap property. This is basically the flex wrap property in CSS, because the horizontal stack and the vertical stack component are really flexbox items. So wrap value will be wrap. And then we need to make all of the letter uppercase. So text transform. And now we need to add a description. So again, the text component. I'll pass some lorem ipsum text. And if you want to restrict any text within a specific number of lines, for example, if you want the text to be at most 3 lines, you can do that with the text component. You just have to pass a prop, no of lines. And you have to specify the maximum number of lines that you want. I will pass 3. And now we don't have more than 3 lines. And at the end, we have these 3 dots. That means that there are more text. And finally, we have to add a button. So button. I have imported that, I guess. I haven't. Okay, so I'm gonna import the button. And I'm gonna add a text, read more. Actually, I'm gonna make it capitalized, not capitalized, uppercase. So text transform uppercase. And you can see all of the children of vertical stack is at the center. We want them to be at the start, so we can pass a prop on the vstack component, which is align to start. Okay, and I will also add some spacing of 1 rem, and also I will add some margin to the bottom MB. The value will be 2 rem, and I will create another file in the blog directory inside the components directory. I will call it blog preview list. Now this component will render a list of these blog preview cards. So array fce, and I'm going to import the blog preview card from /blog preview card, and here I'm going to add some fragments, and I will also import some components from Chakra-UI. So import box and the heading component from Chakra-UI React, and let's add the box component and add the heading. Now the heading will actually come from props, but for now I'm gonna pass top blogs, and I also want to add some styles. I will pass the sx prop. Now for styling we have only used style props, but you can also use the sx prop to pass an object, and inside that object you can specify all of your styles with the features of all style props. So I'm going to add a text transform property, which will be uppercase. Then I'm going to add margin to the bottom, and the value will be 8. It doesn't mean 8 rem or 8 pixels. It is an actual value from the Chakra-UI theme. If you want to see that, just go to the Chakra-UI and search for default theme. And if you go to the sizes, not sizes, spacing, and here you'll see all of the values that you can use for margins, paddings, things like that. So we have used 8, that means it is 2 rem. And now we need to use the font size, and the value will be 5XL, and again it is coming from the default theme. If you go to typography, and here you will see all of the font sizes defined in the theme, so we can directly access the theme values from the style props, or you can also use it in the sx prop. And after the heading we will display the list of blog preview cards, but we don't have a list, so I'm gonna add a dummy list. So array of 10 items, and I'm gonna fill them with 0, and I will map over them, and it will take a function and we'll return the blog preview card, and it is asking for a key, so I will import nano id from nano id. So I'll add that key, and the value will be nano id. And let's go to index.js file, and I will change the import component name from blog preview card to blog preview list, and the file path will be blog preview list, not card. And you'll see we have a list of blog preview cards. And finally we have to add a little bit of style to this heading. I want to add some margin to the top, so empty, value will be 8, which means it will be 2 rem. Then for margin bottom I want 16. Okay, so we have some margins and our blog preview card is ready. Now we need to create our custom Chakra link component that will work with both Nextjs link component and Chakra-UI link component. And after doing that, we have to modify our blog preview cards. Okay, so inside the components directory, I will create another file. I will call it chakra link.jsx. So first of all, I'm going to import the link component from next link. Then I'm going to import bunch of components from Chakra-UI. So I'm going to paste that import statement. So we have imported the link component from Chakra-UI and I have renamed it as Chakra Link. We have imported the text component, button component, box, link overlay, then the heading component. Actually, we will not need the heading component. Then we will need this use color mode hook. Basically, we want to create a component that will wrap other components and make those components a link. For example, we want to create a component that will wrap up this button, this read more button, and make that read more button a link component. Okay, so that's the basic idea. You might think it will be complicated, but it's actually not. So I'm going to create a component, rafce. I don't need this import statement, and instead of Chakra link, it will be Chakra next link. Also, it will be Chakra next link, and I will just return the link component, the Nextjs link component actually. It will take an href prop, and the value will come from the component props. I'll destructure that href. And I will also pass href here, and also we need to pass a prop, pass href, and inside this link component we're gonna have to use the Chakra link component, so Chakra link, and here we're gonna import another component that will actually come from the props, so I will call that Chakra component. And this Chakra component will be that component which we want to use it as a link. For example, if we want to use this button component as a link, then we're gonna pass the button component from Chakra-UI as a prop here. But if the user doesn't give any Chakra component, it will be equals to the box component. So it doesn't matter if the user passed the prop or not, the Chakra component will still be a component. It won't be undefined. So we can insert that Chakra component, and here we're gonna insert the children, and also let's add the children here. Oops, I had to add a comma. Now we want this Chakra next link component to be flexible. We want a way so that we can pass props, both of these components like Chakra link component and also the Chakra component. So it will take more props. It will take the Chakra link props, which will be equals to an object, and if the user doesn't pass any, it will be just an empty object. And then I'm gonna get the rest of the props, and I'm gonna spread the rest of the props to the Chakra component, and the Chakra link props to the Chakra link component. And now we can use this component to make any component a Nextjs link. So we can create more components out of this component. For example, you have to pass the button component as a prop every time. But if we can create a custom component, then we don't have to do that. So I'm gonna create a component const Chakra button link. It will take some props, and I will add the Chakra next link, and we're gonna pass the Chakra component prop, and the value will be equals to button. Then we're gonna spread rest of the props, and also we need to export this component. So export Chakra button link. So let's test it out. So let's go to block preview card, and I will import that component. So import Chakra button link from components / Chakra link, and instead of this simple button, I'm gonna add the Chakra button link component. And we're gonna pass the text, read more. And we always have to pass the href prop. So href will be /blog. So I will comment this button. And again, we have a button, but if I hover over it, you can see it is now a link. Also, it has a underline. Later, I will show you how to remove that underlined. So if I click on it, it will take me to the /blog route, but the blog page doesn't exist. So I need to create another file in the pages directory. Now, if you don't know about the pages directory in Nextjs, all of these files, all the JavaScript or TypeScript files in the pages directory will represent our page. So the index.js file represents the home page or the root route. If I create another file, I'll call it blog.jsx. This will represent as the /blog route. So it's just a dummy page. I will later delete that. So again, I will create another component. And now let's click on the read more button. It should take me to the blog page without any refresh. And here it is. Without any refresh, we are now at the blog page. So our Chakra next link component is working. And we can also pass the style props to the button. So if I just pass this prop to the Chakra button link, it will work fine. Now, how do we remove the underline? Actually, it is pretty simple. Just go to the Chakra link component. And here we can set a system where we can pass a prop called no underline. If that prop is passed, if it's true, then we should not have the underline. So no underline. If no underline is true, then we want to add some style props to the Chakra link props object, because the Chakra link props object will contain all of the style props. So we need to add an if statement. If no underline is true, then we want Chakra link props underscore hover. Now the underscore hover is also a style props. It is used for adding hover effect, and it normally takes an object as the value, and it should have a text decoration property, and the value will be none. And just to make sure that the underscore hover object exists in the Chakra link props, we need to add a new line. Chakra link props underscore hover will be equals to Chakra link props underscore hover, or an empty object. So if the underscore hover property exists, then the value will be this, and if it doesn't exist, it will be just an empty object. So now let's go to block preview card and let's add another prop, no underline. And now if I hover over it, you can see it doesn't have any underline, and if I click on it, it still takes me to the blog page. So it's working. Now normally we don't want any underline in the buttons, so we can just remove it from here, and in the Chakra link, actually the Chakra button link, we can just add the no underline prop, and it is still working. Now in the demo application, if I hover over the block preview card, you can see the whole card is now a link. But in our application, it is not. Only the button is a link. So how can we make the whole preview card a link? And we can do that pretty easily with the link overlay component and the link box component. So basically we have to wrap the block preview card with the link box component. And inside the link box component, somewhere, it doesn't have to be a direct children. It can be nested. You have to use the link overlay component, and that will make the whole component a link. So let's go to block preview card, and I have imported the link box component. Now most of the components in Chakra-UI take another prop called as. You can use the as prop to change any HTML tag, or you can also pass a component, and that component will be actually rendered to the screen with the styles of the main component. So let me show you. So we have this VStack, the vertical stack component. We want all of these styles, everything, but we want to use it as a link box component. So we have to pass the as prop, and the value will be link box. And on the Chakra link component, we will expect another prop, which we'll call overlay. And if overlay is true, then instead of this Chakra link component, we have to use the link overlay component. So I'm going to create a variable const link component. So I'm going to use a ternary operator. Basically, it's just an one-line if statement. So if overlay is true, then the actual component will be link overlay, else it will be just Chakra link, the vanilla link component. And instead of this Chakra link component, we're gonna add the link component variable, which will be equals to either one of this component. And let's just go to block preview card, and we need to import the Chakra next link, Chakra next link, and we're gonna add a new header, so Chakra next link, and the Chakra component will be equals to the heading, and the href will be /blog. And again, later we will change that with actual link, and we will set overlay to true, and I will add some lorem ipsum text as children. I will comment out this heading, and now everything should work fine. And if I hover over it, you can see the whole block preview card is now a link. So if I click the image, it is still taking me to the blog page. So now the whole block preview card component is a link, but the button component will not depend on this link. The button has a separate link. So if I change the link of the button from blog to blog 2, and if I click on this button, and you can see it has taken me to the blog 2 route, but the page doesn't exist. So that's why it will give me 404 error. And that's okay. So I will remove the 2 from here, and I will delete these comments, and our block preview card is now complete. And now we're gonna add the app drawer component. If I click on the hamburger icon, you can see app drawer slides in, and if I click outside the drawer, it disappears. Okay, so let's do that. So I will close these files, I don't need them. So I'm going to create a new file in the components directory. I will call it appdrawer.jsx. Again, a new component, and I need to import a lot of components from Chakra-UI, so I'm going to paste it. So I have imported the nano ID again, then the drawer component, drawer body, footer, header. Actually, we will not need footer. Then overlay, content, close button, list item, heading, and things like that. And I will open up the app header component, and I will import the app drawer. So import app drawer from /app drawer, and we're going to create another custom component for this hamburger icon button. So const hamburger nav, and I need to import a hook from Chakra-UI, which is use disclosure. Now the use disclosure hook is used for opening and closing any kind of component. Actually, I will just show you the documentation. So I will search for use disclosure. So use disclosure is a custom hook to help handle common open close toggle scenarios like we do for modal and app drawer. So it returns us some property in an object is open, on close, on open, on toggle. Okay, so we are going to use that. So I will call the use disclosure function, hook, and let's destructure the return result is open, on close, and on open. This is open is a state value, and on close and on open are just a function to manipulate that state. And we're going to return a fragment, and I will just cut this component and I will paste it here. And here I'm gonna add the hamburger nav, Okay, so I have misspelled the return. And here we're gonna add the app drawer. And here we need to add the app drawer. And the app drawer component will only be mounted if isOpen is true. So isOpen is true. Then we're gonna add the app drawer. And we're gonna add an onClick prop to the hamburger button on click. And the value will be on open. And also our app drawer component should have access to the onClose function and the isOpen state. So we're gonna pass them. So isOpen will be equals to isOpen, and onClose will be equals to onClose. And if I click on the hamburger icon, you can see we have this app drawer text, but if I click on it again, it doesn't toggle. So let's create our app drawer. So I will delete this. We're gonna add the drawer. And the drawer size will be MD. And the placement will be left. Placement left. And it will take on close prop, which will be value on close. Actually, it will come from the props. The props will be isOpen and on close. And inside the drawer, first we're gonna add the drawer overlay, which will be if I click on the hamburger, and behind the drawer, if I click on it, it disappears. That was the actual overlay. So drawer overlay. Then we're gonna add the drawer content. And here we're gonna add the drawer close button. And I forgot to add another prop to the drawer, which is isOpen. So isOpen will be isOpen. So here is the drawer, and also we have this close button. Now we're gonna add the drawer header. So drawer header. And here we're gonna add the heading. The heading will be Q's blog. And we're gonna add some padding to the drawer header, padding to the top and bottom, so py. And the value will be 8 for 1 rem. And after that, we're gonna add the drawer body. This will actually contain the lists. And here I will add a custom component, drawer list, and it will take on close prop, and the value will be on close. So let's create a drawer list component. So const drawer list. And here I'm gonna create an array of objects. So const list items. I'm gonna paste those objects. This data will be used for creating the list items. So we have this name and also the link. The first link will be an actual link, and the other links will be used to make the app drawer a little bit pretty. And finally, I'm gonna return the list component. And inside the list, we're gonna map over the list items array. So list items dot map. So I'm gonna add an anonymous function. So the argument will be item, and we're going to return the chakra link component. The value will be item dot name. The chakra link component this time will take a lot of props. The first, the href, will be item dot link. And I made a mistake. This list items should be inside a curly brace. We also have to add key, which will be nano ID. Then we're going to pass chakra component, which will be the list item. Then we're going to add some style to the list item. So sx display will be block, then margin top will be 5, and font size will be LG. And if I click on the home link, you can see we have little outline. I will click it again. Here is a little outline. We need to get rid of that. So we're gonna add the Chakra link props, which will be equals to an object. We need to add the underscore focus key, and it will also be an object, and outline will be 0. And if I click on it again, you can see we don't have that outline. And also when we will click any of this link, the drawer should be closed. So we're gonna add another property on click, and the value will be on close. And let me just restructure it on close. So I will click on it again. You can see the drawer was immediately closed. Alright, so our app drawer is done. It is really working fine. And now let's create a layout. Now we have added these components directly to the index page, but we want to create a layout of that. In that layout, the app header, the app drawer will be present, and we will wrap the actual page component by our layout component so that this app drawer and app header will be rendered to every single page. So I'm going to create another file. I will call it page layout.jsx. So I'm going to create another React component, and I will paste the import statements. So the page layout component will take children as props, and I will remove this divs, and I will add app header, and I'm gonna add the container, and inside the container we will have the children. We're gonna add some padding horizontally. Value will be 4, and we want to set a max width, and value will be 5 pixel, so that our actual content doesn't take the whole space. So if I increase the screen width, you can see the block preview card is taking the full screen. This prop will prevent that. So now let's go to the underscore app.js file, and we will import the page layout from components/page layout, and we're gonna add the page layout, and we will put the component inside the page layout, and you can see the page layout has been added. We also have some spacing on the left and right hand side. If I make it full screen, you can see it is still looking good. So let's go to the index.js file, and I will remove this import statement, also this app header. The block preview list will be there. Okay, so we don't have the extra app header. Now let's go again to the page layout. We're gonna add a footer to the layout. So I will import another component from Chakra-UI, which is center, and the text component. So after the container, we're gonna insert the center component, and we're gonna add the text component, and I will just paste the value here. And if I scroll down, you can see we have this text footer, but we need to add some margin to the top and bottom. So margin will be 2 rem for top and bottom, and 0 for left and right. Okay, so we have some margin. And now the final thing that I want to add is the toggle color mode feature, which is pretty easy. So I'm going to create another file in the components directory. I will call it toggle color mode button.jsx. Pretty long name. Let's create a component, and again I will paste the import statements. We have imported the icon button like before, and also these icons, and also we have imported use color mode hook, which makes this process really easy. So I will remove this, and I'm just gonna add an icon button. Icon will be moon icon for now, and we need to add many props. The size of the button will be LG, and color scheme will be teal. Then we need to pass some styles with SX prop. We're gonna make position to fixed. Then bottom value will be 3 rem, and right value will be 2 rem. Oops, I have to put a comma. And Z index will be 1. And let's go to page layout, and I will import the component. I'll copy this line. It will be toggle color mode button from toggle color mode button, and here I will add the button toggle color mode. And here you can see on the bottom right hand side we have this icon button. So now let's call the use color mode hook. So use color mode, it returns us an object, so const color mode and toggle color mode. The color mode is the actual state, and the toggle color mode is the set state. The color mode value can be either light or dark, so we need to change the icon based on that value. So if color mode is equals to light, then it will be moon icon, else it will be sun icon. So sun icon, and also on click we're gonna toggle the color mode, and it should work fine. So let's click on this button. Now we have a dark color mode, and now we have a light color mode. So it is really working fine. So if I go to the dark version again, and if I refresh the page, it is still showing you the dark version. But how is that? Well, it uses the local storage to keep track of the last color mode version. So if I open up the dev tool, and I will go to the application tab, and just go to local storage, and here you'll see a key Chakra-UI color mode which is set to dark. If I toggle it again, now it is set to light, and that is how Chakra-UI remembers what color mode to show. Okay, so we have done quite a lot, and I will end this video here. Actually, I forgot to do one thing, which is I need to make the app header logo to a link. So just open up the app header file and just import the Chakra link component. And just go to the logo component, and I will wrap this image component by the Chakra next link component. And the href will be the root route. So let's go to another route. And now if I click on the logo icon, you can see that it has taken me to the root route again. But you can see that we have this ugly outline. We need to get rid of that. So I need to pass the Chakra link props. And I need to again use the underscore focus key and just make outline 0. And now if I click on the logo, you can see we don't have the ugly outline. So that's what I really wanted to finish. And now we are finally done with the homepage UI. We have successfully done all of the tasks. We have created the app header, we have created the block preview card. We have also created the custom chakra link. We have created the page layout, and also we have implemented the toggle color mode feature. So in the next video, we are not going to do any kind of coding. We're going to understand what is static site generation and why this is helpful. And also we will have a brief introduction about how our app will actually work. That's it for today. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and press the bell icon so that you don't miss the next video. Until then, stay safe. Goodbye.